Hi everybody, in this video I want to talk to you about sending messages between the server and the client, and specifically the format that you used to send those messages. So by default, a PartyServer uses strings, and so you could send any plain string. You could even throw in some delimiters, like maybe a comma or a colon. And for a lot of cases, like for simple data, this is probably sufficient. When you get to more complex data, where you have structured data, maybe an object with a graph, a deep graph, that's when I think JSON becomes the next option. Also, JSON is well supported across all stacks. So if somebody, let's say you have a mobile app that's communicating with the socket, it's very likely that that mobile app, whether it's Swift, Flutter, it will have a JSON decoding capability. So it looks something like this. I'm sure you're pretty familiar with this, like JSON stringify. So when you send, you can stringify the message, that's serializing it. And when you handle the message, you could parse it out. And it's very common in TypeScript to also have a message type. And very similar on the server side, except that here you would handle the parsing it on message. And again, for TypeScript, use as to cast it. Now another option is called Devalue, which is similar API to JSON, but I think it's useful when you have, let's say, more complex data structure. One of the limitations of JSON is it doesn't support things like maps, sets, dates well. It doesn't support undefined. It doesn't support custom types. Devalue supports all those, so it's a great option. And the API looks quite similar. So you would just import Devalue, and again, the API is exactly the same as JSON, so stringify and parse. Another good option, well, I guess in some cases it's needed, if you're sending blobs of data, is to use binary. And so PartyServer does support binary. To transmit, you could just send in any binary data. When you process it, you would want to adjust your type slightly. So you would, instead of having a string here, use array buffer. This is a TypeScript type, array buffer-like. And this way you'll get an array buffer instead of a string. And on the client side, just note it's slightly different. So normally you would say when you got a message, you would get event data. With binary, you would use dot array buffer, and you need to await on that. So you've got to ask for the binary data. Now another good option is message pack, which is also will handle structured data, but in a binary format. Also, a good thing about message pack is it's supported everywhere. Any language, C#, Python, and all languages will have a message pack API. So it looks quite similar to JSON, except you use encode and decode, and the payload is binary in this case. And lastly, I would mention Protobuf is an option as well. If you have, I think Protobuf is good for if you have version data where you want to support multiple versions of a packet at the same time. It's also a good option. All right, so there you go. I hope you learned something about all the different formats that you have available to you and how you can serialize messages on the wire with PartyServer. Catch you later. Bye.